Alright, guys. Thanks for coming. We'll do questions with Caitlin and Monica. Over 12,000 tickets have been sold for the Iowa State game on Wednesday. So,
It's crazy. Wow.
What did yesterday do to just kind of get you guys back on track across the board?
Yeah, I think it was really good for us. Obviously, I felt like we really executed on offense, which is something we needed to do. I thought, obviously, our shooting percentages were really good, which is good for, a lot of different people to see the ball go in the hole. Free throw line shot it good, three-point shot it good, overall shot it well. I still think there was a quarter there that we could have played a lot better, and I think when you go and play really good teams, we know we can't have quarters like that, and I think we experienced that versus NC State. So, going into Iowa State, we know that we have to be on top of our game for 4 quarters if we want to win. But I think it was a good game. We just kind of reset. We knew we couldn't go in the past and change anything, and we came out and just showed what Iowa basketball really was.
Rivalry elements aside, for both of you guys, how pivotal is this game just for your whole trajectory of this season and just, where you guys are at right now?
I mean, we're so lucky, first of all, that 2 of the bigger schools in Iowa are ranked so high. Like, we get to play this rivalry game, and it's a ranked game. We get to play it on our home court. Like, that's huge for us, and that's huge. It shows how big women's basketball is in Iowa. But I think that our front schedule is so loaded, and Iowa State's one of those teams that we know we have to go out there, like Caitlin said, and kind of put on our best show and do our best in order to win, and that's just how it is. But we're all really excited. I know I'm not from Iowa, but 5 years, I kind of feel like I'm from Iowa. I think I can, kind of take that title now. So it means a lot. It means a lot to the state.
Was Iowa State third on your list?
Yeah.
Final?
It was Iowa State, and Notre Dame. Yep.
Was Notre Dame 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So
It really just came down to Iowa and Notre Dame, if I'm being very honest. But yeah.
what does this mean to you?
Yeah, this is huge. And I, grew up going to Iowa State games, going to Drake games, going to Iowa games. I was never like a huge Iowa fan, a huge Iowa State fan. Like, I just loved basketball and being around it. So, my dad would take me to whatever I could go to. Obviously, Ames was closer than Iowa City for me. But, I just love the game. I mean, I can still list a bunch of players that I grew up watching that played for all the schools in our state. But I think it just speaks to how good women's basketball is in our state. And obviously, there's a lot of great AAU programs, but I'm going to brag on mine. All Iowa Tech, that's where a lot of the girls that are on both sides of the ball on Wednesday came from. But, I just think Iowa doesn't always get credit for our basketball, but it's really, really good. And the girls that play in the state are very, very skilled. So, yeah, I'm excited. This is a huge game for our state. Obviously, 12,000 tickets sold. I expect Hawk fans to make it sold out here in a couple days. But, we're lucky we get to play on our home court. We need to use that to our advantage because our crowd is incredible. So.
You get them with fans your first time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that was an exciting game.
That was a
We
crazy
came from
game.
behind.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were down, but we came back from behind on our home court. So I've never played Iowa State and Carver with fans. So.
I mean, obviously you've played in big environments, the tournament last year and whatnot, but do you feel like there's going to be an added level to the crowd intensity and the role it could play in this game?
Yeah, I think, being able to use the crowd to help us, especially on the defensive end. Obviously, they were really loud for us last game, but we just couldn't find a way to get a stop. And, Hawk fans love women's basketball. That's one of the reasons I came here is because they come and support every single game, and they cheer, and they know what's going on during the game. And I don't expect anything different when we play Iowa State. They'll probably be even louder than normal. But, yeah, I mean, these are the games that prepare you for March. And honestly, this environment will probably be even maybe louder than some of the games you play in the NCAA tournament. So I think, just more than anything, these are situations we've been in before. We're lucky we have a veteran team. We need to use that to our advantage and not be scared by it. But, it's our home court, so let's use it.
Monica's center for Iowa State's a transfer you've never faced her before, 6'6". She has kind of a unique skill set, but how big has it been to, face, Connecticut's Kobe Edwards or Mitrovic from Oregon State or even the NC State ones to just kind of prepare you for this game?
Yeah, I feel like I've been really lucky this season. Just in this preseason, been playing a lot of really good bigs and a lot of height that, we don't really see a lot in the Big Ten. So that's been really good for me, just extending my game and kind of getting that insight. And Iowa State's going to be no different. Going to watch up on a lot of film, kind of go through the scout again, but I think that I've gone against a lot of really good posts, and she is, from what it looks like, a really good post, and, I'm going to have to go back to the basics.
From what you've seen, what What do you like about her as a player?
I mean, she's got a great range, can drive from almost anywhere on the floor. I mean, that's just not really something that you see a lot of times in the Big Ten. We're more old traditional, back to the basket posts. So that's something new and unique that I'll have to play against, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Last year, it was kind of tough in the post. They alternated kids against you and just made it hard for you. What sort of difference do you expect with Suarez?
Yeah, I mean, I think this year it'll be a little bit different. She's obviously having more usage percentage for her. She's averaging more points than their post was last year. So they need her in the game, so it'll kind of be a good matchup. Like, neither one of us can really foul. It's going to have to be good defense, but we're going to be trying to foul the other person, getting the other one to draw fouls. So it's going to be kind of a different look with that. They can't really just cycle in a bunch of people like they want her on the floor. So that is going to be kind of an advantage for me.
Kaylin, how have you felt the veteran element of this team has been most beneficial in this first month?
I think the biggest thing is when we've lost, we've been able to respond. And I don't know if that would have been the same way, 2 years ago. Yeah, we lost to UConn and we came back and we lost again, but that didn't make or break our year, and we know that. Maybe in the past that flusters us and we go to Wisconsin and don't play very well, but we played really well. And I think we know as a veteran group it's a really, really long year. I think last year we had our ups and downs against teams that weren't ranked. But this year we're losing to teams that are very, very good. We've lost twice to teams that are very good. But we also know we can beat those teams. And I think that just speaks to, how long our starting five have been here. We know it's a long season. We know we still have a lot of chances to beat really, really good teams. And I think that's just the biggest thing, the way we responded.
How do you see the rest of their team? Iowa State brings back, they look pretty much the same except for Suarez. Are they doing anything differently or just pretty much the same?
I wouldn't necessarily say they're doing anything differently. I mean, they usually run a ton of set plays, so it's going to be a lot of just playing our principles. There's no way for us to memorize every single play they run every time down the court. But obviously, their post gives them a very different look than what they had last year. She can step out and shoot the three. She's long at 6'6". But, Monica's played really well against bigger posts, too. So she's not an easy player to guard either. So we need to use that to our advantage. But obviously, two very talented guards, and Donarski and Emily Ryan. And then obviously Ashley Jones, everybody knows that. But, I think it's just playing our principles more than anything. We have great players and great matchups with them. I'm sure we'll have to make adjustments in the games, but we've been working on this stuff since June. That's what Coach Bluder said all today. Like, we know how to guard these screens. We know how to guard these plays, these actions they're running. So it's just sticking to our principles. I think that's just the biggest thing.
Last year, neither team could really get their transition game going. Do you see that as it's something probably both teams want to do?
Yeah.
Is that something you can sort of work on? I guess getting boards is the
Yeah.
big key.
I think the biggest thing for our transition game is getting stops. That's what leads to our offensive break, and that's what we want. That's our best offense, transition, and I think every team we've played so far knows that as well. Some teams have not even crashed because they're so terrified of our transition offense. I don't expect Iowa State to do that, but I expect that to be a focal point for them. They know they're going to need to get back in transition, but at the same time, if we get stops, box out, get the rebound and go, that's still really, really hard to defend. So I think more than anything, we want to get our transition offense going, but that starts with a defensive stop.
You guys have been together for so long. It's for both of you. 3 years, same starting lineup. How do you keep things fresh? How can this team get better collectively?
Yeah, I think it's just everybody kind of individually take steps in their own in the off season and even during the season. And it's kind of really cool to see. I don't think a lot of people get the opportunity to play with somebody, and no more or less a whole starting five for 3 years in a row. Like, you get to see your teammates evolve in a way that you might not get to see otherwise. But I think that, like, for me personally, rebounding has always been a huge thing. And, I think I've made steps in that personally. I think we each individually are making steps on our own.
And I think collectively also defense, we have times where we're really, really good, and we have times where we have glimpses of not really good. So I think it's just finding a way to be more consistent on the defensive end. And we know we can do it. We play defense against our practice boys who are very talented every single day, and we're pretty good. It's just locking in and knowing our matchups and assignments.
Have you noticed more any in this first month because you guys are veteran and, this unit has put so much on film, good and bad, that teams have maybe keyed in more specifically on what you guys like to do? Have you noticed that any more this year than maybe last year or even the year before that?
I would say people basically know what we're gonna do. Anytime we step on the court, no matter if it was last year, this year, my freshman year, just because, you know, the read and react and the set plays we run are usually pretty similar year to year. But at the same time, I think the biggest difference that I've kind of noticed is I feel like people are really trying to clog the paint on Monika more. And, you know, we've worked on a lot of ways to help her get her open, and I think that really kind of came to fruition, especially in the Wisconsin game. They're trying to do the same thing, but, you know, Monika shot 90% from the field. So I think that's been a little different, and we know we still have to get her the ball when things like that do happen. But, yeah, I think people still know what we're going to do every time we step on the floor, but the fact of the matter is if you just execute how you know you're supposed to, it's still super hard to defend.
What has that been from your vantage point? You know, teams clogging the paint more, making it as difficult as possible for you to get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they have. I think that a lot of teams sometimes have more fives that they're kind of willing to bring in and get fouls too. So they're doing their best. But yeah, they have been clogging the paint more. But I think it's good for us to see that now in the preseason than to all of a sudden see it at March and not know what to do or how to combat it or anything. So I honestly like that we're seeing it now and we're able to respond with it now. And our guards are learning how to make different type of passes into the posts, and we're just learning more in this preseason front end of the season than we ever have, I think, before.
Caitlin, you said that, you know, you're kind of a basketball jockey growing up. You went to a lot of games. Did you have a favorite Hawkeye, favorite Cyclone growing up that you wanted to emulate, that you really?
I mean, I love Sam Logic. You know, I think obviously our games are similar in certain ways, but a lot different in a lot of ways. She didn't score really the way I scored, but she passed the ball very well. Got a lot of steals. Was just way tougher than I am, that's for sure. Coach Bluder probably even say that too. I mean, there's so many good players. I mean, I went to a lot of Drake games, Lizzie Wendell, Caitlin Ingle, all of them, just because that's where I grew up. But I would say like my favorite was probably Sam. And obviously, I mean, there's so many great Hawkeyes, and I think that just speaks to the way Coach Bluder has developed people in this program, but obviously Megan too as well. But I was a little older when she was here. Obviously, I was in high school. But yeah, I mean, I just loved basketball. I always had it on. So I like to think I know a lot about the game. Yeah.
You haven't lost a tooth like Sam has.
I know. I hope I never do. Oh my
that'd be
gosh. She would always be going to get stitches and coming back in the game. So
It's like the last thing on the bingo card.
yeah, no. Sam is tough as nails.
That's her first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Monika had it
Oh,
once.
no, I was making a bad joke. Because she's won it 50, 100 million times.
Yeah, I just want to start by congratulating Caitlin for being, you know, Player of the Week. It's tough. When you have 14 great schools in your conference, it's a amazing honor, but obviously with her yesterday getting the Big Ten's all-time triple-double leader is a pretty significant accomplishment. And it took it away from an Iowa player and Sam Logic. She already talked about that, but I thought Caitlin played really maturely yesterday. I thought she really did a great job of managing the team. I feel like she knew she could do about anything she wanted offensively, but she was really cognizant of getting her teammates involved and running her offense, and so that was tremendous to see. But, you know, obviously this Iowa State team, we have 4 great teams in our state, and it's incredible to think about a state our populated size having the quality of basketball that we do. It makes us all better. I mean, you know, do we like it that everybody else is good? No, but it does make us better. And so that's what it's all about. And I think the people of the state should be really proud of what we put on the floor. And I know they're coming out to support us tomorrow, so it should be fun.
Stephanie Suarez, how does that change Iowa State?
Yeah, I think she's a huge difference maker for them. You know, at 6'6" and somebody that can shoot the threes and drive from out there, and she rebounds really well. She's a difference maker for them and changes their team a little bit for the better.
This would obviously be a big ranked matchup, even if there wasn't any rivalry elements involved. Just how crucial is this opportunity for you guys at this point in the season?
You know, I don't think any one game is ever crucial. Would we love to win it? Yes, absolutely, and so would they. Does it determine how the rest of our season goes? No, it doesn't. It's one game. We are all trying to get better for March. And yes, because of the rivalry, it adds a little more emotion to it. But at the same time, I mean, both of us want to win it, but it does not determine what we do the following months.
I asked Monica, I'm sure you heard the question about, kind of having some preparation against some other really good post players. I know Mitrovic was obviously 6'9", very tall. Aaliyah Edwards was good. Do you feel like this year has prepared, Monica or even Addison O'Grady or even Hannah Stolke to be ready for this type of matchup?
Yeah, we've went against some tremendous posts already. Our non-conference schedule has been very different as far as post play and what we've seen and what we've had to adjust to. I think it's going to only help us down the line. This is our second 6'6" or bigger post that we've went against. So it's it really. We've went against posts that can shoot from outside, posts that are quick. It's just it's good to play against a variety of competition like this, and it'll help us.
Do they run different stuff now that they've got Suarez in there?
I'm not sure if they. Bill runs a lot of plays, a lot of sets, but they're still trying to push the basketball. They're still a great 3-point shooting team, but I'm not sure. You'll have to ask him how much he's changed his game.
She's not playing, obviously, on Wednesday, but what's Kylie Feuerbach's role as far as maybe coding things, spying on things?
Absolutely not. We don't do. I've never asked Kylie one thing about Iowa State. I wouldn't want to put a person in that position. Maybe that's being dumb. I figure if she wanted to tell me something, she'd tell me it, but I'm not going to put a young lady in that position to have to give up any secrets that she may or may not want to give up.
Same thing I asked Caitlin. How do you feel the veteran element of this team has been most valuable in this first month?
Well, we wouldn't have played this level of non-conference schedule without being a veteran team. You just don't schedule like this unless you have a veteran team, somebody that can not only play the games but can withstand the up and downs of that. So, was that your question, Dargan? Or?
Well, I guess just, do you feel this team understands the longness of a season and that, things in November and December, don't define a season? Do you feel like this team understands that,
I do.
well because of the veteran element of this team?
Yeah, I think the veteran of this team, the maturity of this team, they all understand that. Are they disappointed that their record's not better, that our record's not better? Yes, but it doesn't change how we prepare for this game or the next game or the next game after that. We're all smart enough to know that, 1-2 games don't define a season, and what really matters is how you're playing in March.
I asked the players this, how, with these kids together for so long, 3-4 years, most of them now, how do you keep things from not getting a little stale? How do you keep things fresh? How do you,
Yeah. Well, I think that, first of all, they love the game and they compete. All right. If you love the game, it doesn't get stale. Look at how long I've been doing this. It still doesn't get stale to me. I love the game. And so it's exciting. And it's not like when you go to a job and you do the same thing over and over again. Every game provides different challenges, different experiences. And even though we have been together for a while, we still have the addition of, Hannah and Molly playing a lot of minutes. And so that always adds a new little wrinkle to it. Every team is a little bit different. Every year it's 25% in, 25% out. Even though our core has been the same for quite a few years, there's different personalities that come in, and I think that makes it more just enjoyable.
When you watch film on Iowa State, I know there's a lot of familiar pieces from last year, even the year before. What kind of are the first thing or two that you look at and say, this really stands out about them, or this is something that we really have to do well against them?
Well, Ashley Jones. She's an All-American. We got a couple of Wades. They got, Ashley Jones on the Wade watch. How many times are you going to watch a women's game in the state where you have 3 players on the Wade watch list? It's amazing. But yeah, Ashley Jones, I wasn't, when I heard she was coming back for her super senior year, I wasn't real thrilled with that, just like they probably weren't real thrilled that Monica came back. So, she's a tremendous player, incredibly gifted. I think she's really improved her game with her three-point shot this year, too. It's even better than it was before. You know, she still draws a lot of fouls inside, rebounds well. She's an all-around great player. And from what I understand, a really wonderful human being, too.
You and Bill have been going against each other for quite a while now. Does that maybe make it not harder to prepare for? But there's not a lot of, secrets about you. You run your teams, pretty similar to the way you have. Is it kind of just one of those where it comes down to, the decisions in the game are going to kind of determine it?
A lot of it is execution, right? I mean, last year we turned the ball over more than they did. They got to the free throw line a whole lot more than we did. So a lot of it's game by game. It's making changes during the game. It's, those type of things. It's execution and being able to value the ball. And they got more O boards than we did last year. So, those are things that we can control. But it really comes down to, we probably do know a lot of what each other's going to do, but it's really comes down to the kids just executing it and getting it done.
Do you enjoy going up against a coach for that many years, or do you like?
I don't even really think about it, to be quite honest. I don't think about the longevity of a coach, and how long we've been going against each other. I don't even know who other people would be, to compare that to. That's not something that really enters my mind a whole lot.
Coach, last time in the Cy game was here, no fans. So I was wondering if you kind of talk about the role the fans play. It's inching towards a sellout, the energy they provide you, and the home court advantage.
Yeah, we had a good crowd for NC State. Didn't result in a win, but, I think our players know what that's like to play in front of a great crowd. They enjoy playing in front of a great crowd. I think there's going to be a lot of Iowa State fans here, too. So I think it's going to be I hope it is a sellout. It deserves to be a sellout. It really does. Thanks, you guys.